This episode of the Just John podcast is brought to you by the fact that the sound of E.T. walking was made by someone squishing her hands in jelly. What up, homies? Coming to you from the Just John studio here in the heart of Missouri, I'm John Medina, and this is the Just John podcast, a weekly show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. If you're a first-time viewer to the show, welcome. I'm glad you picked this episode. I've got a ton of great things to talk about today. And if you're a regular listener, thanks for coming back and seeing me. I really enjoy the time we spend together every week. Just one thing, if you enjoy the show, please subscribe on YouTube and SoundCloud and throw a rate and review my way on iTunes. It's a really great way for me to be able to promote the show when I have a lot of ratings and reviews and subscribers on these different platforms, and it really just helps me out a lot. And, you know, the show's free. It will always be free. There will never be a charge for the show, but that's a way that you can say, hey, I really like this show, and I find it valuable, and I want to give some value back to the show. On this episode of the Just John podcast, I'm going to talk about some records being broken, get off my Netflix, bro, Spotify is king, your name can get you pregnant, an interview with special guest Grady Frazier, and an app review. So Adele has broken all the records with her latest album, 25. Actually, we're going to stick a pin in it for just a second because I kind of want to talk about her album naming strategy, right? So we had 19 was her first album, 21 was her second album, and 25 is this album. She's naming her albums after her age, but she's actually said now that she's no longer going to do that. Her next album is not going to be named after her age. So it'll be interesting to see what her take is going to be on naming an album that's not her age. Is going to be something important. Is going to be, kind of a summation of what the album's about. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, enough about that. So she has had the highest selling album debut ever with 3.83 million copies sold in the first week. That's a nasty amount of numbers, especially based on the fact that we live in the age of digital music where people don't buy albums that often. I'm not even talking about a physical album. I'm just talking about albums in general. Most of the time, people buy the songs they like off the album. Long gone are the days where you had to buy the whole album just to hear the one song that you like. Now you can literally just go buy the song on iTunes or Amazon or Google Play or wherever you decide. Not only that, but it's one of those things where you're like, okay, so I like 3 songs on the album. I can get that for $4, or I can spend $11 and buy the whole album. I don't want to do that. So most people, if they don't buy the whole album and they don't just like one song, they like a couple songs, they'll pick those 2 or 3 songs and they'll buy those instead of buying the whole album. But somehow Adele has managed to still break a record, and that will probably be the record for quite some time. I don't see another artist breaking that record anytime soon. Music has become such a niche field. I mean, a long time ago, you listened to whatever was on the radio, and the record labels and the radio had a lot more power than they do now. We live in an age of the internet and social media where you can find pretty much anything that you like. You can find a version of it. So you don't have to deal with what's on the radio. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. I haven't listened to the radio in a long time, actually. I listen to what I want to listen to, not what the company that can bid out the biggest for a song or whatever wants me to listen to. So another record that she's broken, it's not really a record, it's just something that she's done. She is the first person to sell 4 million copies in a calendar year since her last album, 21. Which actually sold 4 million copies in a calendar year twice. It did it in 2012, and then it did it again in 2013. So Adele's a force to be reckoned with. I think it goes a lot to say back what I was saying about the fact that music is a niche market. I mean, look at, you've got these artists, but there's a ton that no one's ever heard of. Like my buddy Aaron, he'll be like, oh man, have you heard about this new rapper? He's kind of half underground, but he's starting to get big. And I've not heard of him. I have no idea who that is. And then my other buddy, Josh, he'll be like, oh man, there's this new country guy. You should check him out. And it's another person that I've never heard of. And it's not because I don't like that type of music. It's not because I don't try to keep up on it a little bit. It's just the fact that if you are not in that niche, like ingrained into that niche, then you're going to miss out on some of the stuff. And that's why artists aren't selling as much as they used to, because if you're not already part of that niche market, then you may not even know it exists. And if you do, you can catch it on Spotify, or you can buy that one song. You don't have to go buy the whole album. I think the key to Adele's success is the fact that she applies to so many different people, so many different generations, I guess I should say. Like, your grandma does not listen to Drake. Your mom probably doesn't listen to Drake. Your aunt may not listen to Drake either. They may not, but they probably listen to Adele. And if they don't, once they find out who Adele is and hear her music, they'll probably start listening to Adele. So what I'm saying is that while music has gone more niche, Adele has captured the ability to bridge those gaps, bridge those niches, and apply to a bunch of different people. You'll see people that love all different types of genres of music listening to Adele. And that's just because it's relatable for a lot of people. So maybe that has something to do with their success. McAfee, is that how you pronounce it? Whatever, that's how I pronounce it. I always have. I've heard people say it differently, but I don't think my pronunciation of that will ever change. Anyways, McAfee Labs reports that Netflix hackers are selling subscription passwords for less than $1 a month. So what does this mean? This doesn't mean that they're giving you a free or a subscription to Netflix in your own username and password for less than $1 a month. It means that they are selling you somebody else's username and password for less than $1 a month. So, you know, your buddy has Netflix and you don't really want to pay for it, so he just lets you use his Netflix or whatever. It's kind of like that. So we've got so potentially my Netflix account could be being used by somebody halfway around the world that decided to pay 50 cents to some random guy a month to get my Netflix username and password. Netflix is not expensive. $7.99, $8.99, $9.99, depending on when you got Netflix and what your subscription costs, is not that bad. I mean, heck, that's less than a ticket to go see a movie in the movie theater, especially if you consider popcorn, soda, whatever. I don't understand that. I mean, okay, I understand that some people can't afford those things necessarily, but if you can afford cable, you can afford Netflix. I mean, most people are like, oh man, I don't want to add another $8 to my cable subscription. Cut cable and get Amazon Instant Video, Netflix, and Hulu Plus. And then if you absolutely need to, you can get HBO as well. And you've got pretty much everything on cable. Yeah, you don't have the local channels, but get a digital converter box because the local channels are free. They always have been. They probably always will be until the death of TV. Spotify is the most popular streaming app in the world. Variety reports that according to the mobile streaming report compiled by research app Annie. What? Oh, by researcher app Annie. Man, that's a mouthful. Spotify is the most popular streaming app in the world. It surpassed Pandora, but Pandora is only available in the US, Australia, and New Zealand. Spotify, on the other hand, is available in 58 markets, and it just now surpassed Pandora. So while Spotify is king, that still goes to show how many active monthly listeners that Pandora has in the 3 countries that it's available in. Now, Pandora just recently bought Rdio, so I'm wondering if, well, one, we know that the purchase of Rdio is going to help Pandora build radio stations, or not radio stations, build a program where you can select an artist and listen to their specific songs like Spotify, which is mainly the reason why people prefer Spotify over Pandora is because, I don't want to listen to a radio station. I just want to search for songs that I haven't heard in a while or whatever and listen to those. And so they go ahead and go to Spotify instead. But with this purchase plan, I think Pandora is going to attack them from that front. But to truly take their crown back, Pandora's just going to have to expand into more markets. I mean, they're only in 3. Spotify's in 58. There's no way you can compete until you can access at least some of those markets. And now that Spotify already has their clutches in those markets, breaking into them is going to be that much more difficult. But they can do it. So we'll see what happens. We'll follow this story a little bit in the future and see if anything crazy changes. Ladies, I have some bad news for you. Your name can get you pregnant. So I'm scrolling through social media the other day, right? And I see the dumbest, okay, not the dumbest, because I see a lot of dumb stuff on Facebook. But one of the dumbest things I've seen recently is I'm scrolling through and I see a picture. And it's got a bunch of names on it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to see what these names are about. And the picture at the top says, name of ladies most likely to fall pregnant in 2016. First off, you don't fall pregnant, you get pregnant. And we all know how to avoid that. If you don't know how to avoid that, go talk to your mom and dad or a doctor. They can help you with that. I'm going to read these names just for entertainment value, really. So if your name is as follows, you are more likely to fall pregnant in 2016. Jessica, Ashley, Amanda, Jennifer, Sarah, Stephanie, Nicole, Nicola, Heather, Elizabeth, Megan, Amber, Laura, Emma, Claire, Catherine, spelt with a C or a K, Michelle, Lisa, Danielle, Rachel, and Melissa. What? So you're telling me that because some girl's parents named her Catherine or Nicola, she's automatically most likely to get pregnant in 2016? That is a big load of hogwash, and I would like to see where they got that information. There is no way that is based in science in any way, shape, or form. It's like those pictures that you see. You see this kind of stuff all the time, but it's not as ridiculous as that. But it's like girls most likely to be jerks, or dudes most likely to be stupid, or cheaters, or whatever. That has no base in science. Some guy went through his Facebook and picked the first 15 names of girls on there and said, oh yeah, I'm going to put them on this list and say that you're most likely to fall pregnant in 2016. Do not get me started on fall pregnant again. That is just absolutely ridiculous. I would like to welcome the uber-talented Grady Frazier to the Just John podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. How you doing, John?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm honored to have you on the show. It's amazing that you're here and that we're going to get to talk, and I'm really going to enjoy it.
Dude, it's going to be a blast.
So, what sparked your interest in music?
Okay, well, I grew up in a musical family, so it's one of those things where I've always been around it. So escaping it would have been nearly impossible. And so I got more into the instrumental kind of music when I was younger. I liked, I couldn't explain it at that time, but I just liked the feeling that it gave. And to me, singing was something like you're like stepping out of your, I don't know, it was like you're handing yourself out for people to judge when you sing, but when you play music, it's just like, I don't know, it's just cool. So for me, it was always musical, like the instrumental music first, and then kind of somehow got into singing.
Well, so like the emotion of like what you feel when you hear the music?
Yeah. So the way I like to explain it is like, music is the currency of emotion. Like it's something that you can tangibly see. It's just like any other type of art. It's just so easy to express yourself through it.
Cool. Yeah, I like that saying, the currency of emotion. That's really cool.
Thanks, man.
I know that you had an interest in music and singing, and you enjoyed it, and your family did a lot, and everybody kind of has that. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people enjoy music and they enjoy singing, but they don't have that drive to go out and become an artist and make their own sound and do their own thing. And so what exactly gave you that drive to become an artist?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's It's like my subconscious has like always kind of known that that's what I want to do, and it's been slowly trying to convince, I guess, my awareness that it's something I should do. That sounds incredibly weird, and 4 years ago, if you had asked me this, then it would have been completely different. But at one point, I played a song at a choir concert that I had written, and people responded to it really well. And at that point, it was like, whoa, maybe something could happen with this. Other than that, it was just like writing stuff in my bedroom and just kind of playing around with music, just trying to figure it all out. And I still don't understand a lot of things about music. I just know that I know what I like, and I want to make music that I like. So,
well, I mean, that's really what it's about, sharing your gift with the world and just being who you are, not changing who you are because of the music, but changing the music because of who you are.
Yeah.
Speaking of music and writing your own songs, so what's the best part about making the music and writing the songs for you personally?
Well, for me, when I write songs, it can happen a multitude of different ways. It can either be I read or hear something that's just like, that I could play with those words, or I'm playing with a chord progression, and it's just like, ooh, I feel something with this, and then I write on top of it. But I think it gets to the point, like, a lot of times when I write my songs, I'm no different than anybody else. Like, I struggle with self-doubt, and like I'll just forget songs that I've written just because I don't think they're good. But I think it really comes full circle when you play it for someone and they say, man, I've been in the exact same spot, and that song really helped me. And that happened. I went to go out. I played out in L.A. at a open mic, and I met a girl there, and she's like, yeah, man, what you've gone through literally just happened to me, and it helped me so much, that song. And it's just like, whoa, how does it happen like that? I still don't understand that, but when that kind of thing happens, and it's like, well, it's beyond me now. So I got to keep going. I don't know.
So maybe like the inspiration that you give other people, like like, okay, for example, when people like me who have no musical capabilities feel something, but we don't know how to like build on that emotion or comprehend that emotion, music can help.
Yeah.
So it's something like that, like you enjoy that.
Yeah, for sure. I love it when people, and it's not like I think everybody's conceited to a certain point, and I definitely have conceited in me, but this is not conceited. It's like when people say, like, dude, that was really good, and it really did help me. It's almost humbling in a way. Like, it takes it, again, beyond myself to where it's like, this isn't about me anymore. It's about us, like what we've created. Like, we create a bond over the song, and like once the song is out there, it's no longer me. So it's just cool to like be able to huddle around like the song as a fire and just like hang out and talk to people about it,
Yeah, definitely. So we've kind of touched on this subject a little bit throughout the conversation, but where's the most of your inspiration come? I mean, people can say that their inspiration comes from friends or family or whatever, but for you personally, where does the majority of your inspiration to write these songs and to play this music, where does that come from?
For me, I struggle with being real. Like, I want what I want to do to be honest and authentic to who I am, being real. So I think the inspiration is when something touches me and it moves me in a way that it just feels so real that I can't like contain it. Then I have to write about it, or I have to play about it, or something like that. So I think, and that could go anywhere. For me, it's a lot of introspection because I think to myself a lot, and I don't really like expressing my ideas too much. So that's kind of where the song helps. It kind of like, it's the wings to take the ideas somewhere.
Like finding yourself and understanding yourself.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
sure.
I can hear that in a lot of your music, that you don't just play a song that's talking about nothing. You're playing and writing a song that's telling a story and saying that this is how I felt and this is how I expressed it, and when it was said and done, I was better, or I did better, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So what exactly is your story? So like, how did you go from the loving the music and the playing and the kind of, pursuing music to being discovered and then just recently signed by your first label?
It's really difficult to explain because like I could sit here and talk like I planned it all out this way, but to be honest, I feel like I'm just a bowling ball, and there's like been bumpers set up in my life, and I've just been ricocheting back and forth, and then when I got down there, the way the ball landed, it ended up being a strike. So like I honestly don't know what to do. Some people call it luck, some people call it like coincidence, but I like to think there's some kind of divine intervention in there, because it's just I can look back and see so many points in my life where it's just like I just wanted to give it up. And something kept me going, and it was just right around the corner. Something big happened. So, to all you out there listening, like you can't give up. If it's something deep seated in you, and you have the right intentions about it, and you keep pursuing it, it will happen. Like it's not. If you have the bad motives, then it'll come to ruin. But if you go at it right, like it'll all work out. And so that's what I'm holding on to.
It's almost like the hands of fate, right? Like even if you want to stop, it doesn't want to let you stop. So you're like, oh, I'm not going to touch this guitar again. But then something comes along and you have to grab that guitar for some reason.
Yeah. And I think it's, if I like look into my personality, like I went really in depth into trying to understand who I was personality wise, just so I could know how I work and better work with others. And one of the things is like I'm an INFP, and people like me, we write. And so that's something that I never knew before. I didn't know that was something I just kind of go to and naturally would try to pursue as an outlet. But that's just what happens in music, growing up with it, and the way that it moves me makes me feel like I can't give it up. Even if I gave up doing it as a profession, like I wouldn't be able to give it up and aside because it just is. Like it just is. It's not something that I've created or something that I've done. It's just the way it is. And I think there's a lot of stuff in there that I can't control. Like I'm not sure that I can say that I can take credit for just about anything that's happened to me besides I've kind of kept going. And even that, like there's been inspiration to keep going. So I don't know. It's weird.
Anybody that wants to pursue music, one of the big goals is to have a label find them and kind of say, hey, we like your music, we like what you do, we want to work with you. Can you kind of give us a little bit of a background on how they found you and how that whole situation worked out?
Yeah, so again, this is one of those things where just thinking about the story every time, there has to be something else out there. And so the guy who contacted me, he actually grew up across the street from where I live, and his parents still live there today. And I've grown up playing in his backyard because it's like an open lot, so we played football and stuff back there as kids. And one thing led to another. He got involved with a rapper out of Kansas City, Stephen Cooper, and Stephen was wanting to start a label, and so they started an independent label. And Grant, who's the guy that grew up next door, his mom had told him that I had been doing music and that he should check it out. And one night, for whatever reason, he decided to look it up. And he saw my video, Where Will You Be?, which was the song that I played out in L.A., and it's on YouTube still. And he's like, dude, we gotta talk to him. So he called his dad to say, hey, can you get me Jeff Frazier, my dad's number? And literally the one time in the whole year that I know of, my dad went to play tennis. He was playing tennis with his dad, which is why these coincidences get a little bit weird. And so he was able to call me, and I was about to quit my job, and a guy that I had known from a while ago, like it was back in the summer, I played a show in Kansas City, and there was no one there. Well, there were people there, and thank you to the people that showed up, like all 10 or 15 of them. I didn't know half of them, but and he called me out of the blue, and he's like, hey man, we're having a singer-songwriter night in Kansas City. Do you want to come play? We need someone else. And I was like, yeah, sure. And so this had happened in the background, and then Grant calls me the day that I'm quitting. Like I quit at noon, and then after that, Grant calls me, and he's like, yeah, man, we'd like to see you play. And I said, well, actually, next Friday, I'll be playing in Kansas City, which is where they live and where they're from. And so I got to go and play, and they liked what they saw. And so it kind of moved on from there. But again, like, there's people can call it luck. I'd say that there's definitely skill involved. Like, there's always the I don't know if it's cliche or just a quote, but luck is where skill meets opportunity. So a couple things to give to the people out there that are still trying. First thing, if it's pure in intentions, I believe that it will come out. You will end up doing what you want to do if it's pure in intentions. If you're doing it for fame, don't chase music as an avenue to get popular or fame or for people to hear you, because you will hate life for the first... I've been doing this for 4 years, and last night was the first show that I've had 100 people or more show up just to see me sing. There are other bands as well, so I can't credit that all to me, but and they were local, so that's what makes it really cool. But that's the first thing. You don't come in with it with bad intentions, or it won't work out. Second thing is you have to keep going, because you never know when your break's going to happen. You have to do it for the love of the music. Third thing, I just had it in my head. Let me see if I can remember it. It was a good one. Maybe it'll have to come out later. I'll try to remember.
Just shout it out whenever you remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to spill the beans now. Grady's going to perform a song live on the show here in the studio. But before that, I do want to talk about one thing real quick. So Grady's getting ready to release his first EP, and so I want to give him a chance to kind of talk about it just a little bit, maybe let you know where you can get it, support him, pre-order it, maybe give a little bit of like what his mindset was when he was compiling the album and writing the songs and different things like that.
Okay, so I remembered the third one. The third one is you have to be real with who you are. You can, I don't know where I heard this, but you could be the second best of someone else, or you can be the best you. And that struck chord in me. Kind of a pun intended there. But anyways, you have to be real with who you are, because like you can spend your life trying to be someone else, but if you're always the second best, like they're always going to be a step ahead of you. Why would someone go and listen to you when they could listen to the person who's done it and is really good at it now? So if you, like for me, I wanted to write happy songs when I was in college, and I went to a place where it was really dark for me, and I was writing all these dark songs, so I just put them on the back burner and was just like, no, I'm not going to write these. And later on, through experiences, I found like the dark songs, there are other people out there that struggle with the same things, and that's the stuff that like helps people, is that I guess camaraderie of going through the same kind of struggles. So be real with who you are, like, and don't get, number 4, there's so much crap you can get caught up in, like, oh, I got to get a manager, I got to get a booking agent, I got to do this, and my social media game has to be awesome. Like that, all that stuff's fine and dandy, and I may be saying this because I've been privileged, but make that stuff secondary. Like, again, you have to be pure with what you're doing. If the music is good, people will listen. There are strategies and stuff you can use, but use that later on. Just try to be the biggest thing you can in your local music scene. If that's all you do, like, that's still awesome. Like, not many people get to do that. But along the lines of the EP, it's going to be called Tales from the Runaway, which is kind of a spinoff of the single Runaway. This Runaway is going to be more of the lines of all one word. So, like, I'm assuming the role of a runaway, or you're assuming the role of a runaway. And it didn't really come from anything besides the fact that I feel like after I stopped going to college, like I just didn't enroll the next year, I've kind of been running away from all of these ideas that society plague is like what you should do. And it's been weird because like I've been telling people I want to do music, but they try to put in their opinions of, well, you should do it this way if you're going to do it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that may be right for some people and it may have worked before, but it just doesn't feel right to me. To a certain extent, the people that are wise, you have to listen to what they say, because you may end up screwing yourself later. But that just takes discernment, and that takes years of learning stuff. But all the songs on it have just been from the past 3 or 4 years of writing. So some of the songs are 3 or 4 years old. And it's just, I don't know. I didn't know how to pick songs for this one, so I just kind of picked the ones that I knew people liked. And I also picked the ones that I like gave me some kind of feeling, and that I enjoyed. Because like if I put this out, like these are going to be the songs that people know of me. They're going to be the ones that they'll probably want me to play. So I just had to make sure that they were the ones that I liked. As far as the recording experience went, this is the first time I've ever full-on recorded an EP other than just like guitar and voice. And so it was a complete learning experience. Like, I probably spent way too much money on it. One thing is, always get a job and save up a lot of money, because you will need it later on. I'm really thankful that I did that. But I spent a lot of money on it, and most of the money was spent on fixing stupid things that I was ignorant about. Which, looking back, like, that's cool, because I learned so much, and next time going in, like, I know what not to do, and I know how I work in the studio now, so it's going to be a lot easier. The other thing is, I played a lot of the instruments on it. I can't think of anything specific, but I know on the bass part on Runaway, the engineer played that. And some parts of the drum, like I gave him the drum, like what I wanted. And I got a phone call. But
must be hard to be so popular.
Which is funny, because I'm only popular when I'm with other people. Like, when I'm at home for hours a day, like, no one ever calls me. But Runaway, there's a couple parts on there that, like, I like to work from drum tracks. Like, I wanted to be a hardcore drummer when I was younger, so I like to get the drums, the feel of the drums, and I shape the song kind of from that. And so I gave them the idea. They kind of finished it up. On a lot of these songs, it's me playing, like, software drums, but, like, the beats and stuff are a lot of the concepts I'd come up with. And he, Matt, the engineer, he really, really helped me out with, I may be really popular today. Whatever. He really helped me out with just smoothing everything out, because he's done albums and stuff before, and, like, when things were getting too thick, like, you can pack a lot of stuff in there, but I learned this from working at Andy's, so get ready for this. This is kind of a sidebar, but it totally relates. So we always got, like, a small treat at the end of the day, like ice cream thing. And so, like, when I first started working there, I thought, you know what? I like Oreos, I like strawberries, I like hot fudge. So I just started putting everything in there. When you put everything in there, you can't taste it all. So what you really got to focus on are the things that really taste good and the things that complement the things that taste good, and take that into your songwriting, because there are things that may sound good, but when you put them in the mixture, they just muddy the water. So he really helped me with that. As far as when it comes out, we're hoping December 25th, but I'm terrible at planning, and things never go the way that I want them to, so who knows when it'll come out.
It'll be a Christmas miracle, though.
Yeah, it'll be a Christmas miracle, and everybody who gets iTunes cards from their grandma for Christmas, spend it on it if you can.
That's right. Or just go pre-order it before that, and then when you wake up on Christmas morning, you'll have another Christmas present waiting for you.
That'll be sick. It's a residual Christmas present. You can play it whenever you want.
It's the Christmas present that keeps on giving.
Oh, man. Goodness.
All right, so Grady is going to perform a song for us. He actually is going to pick the song right now, or he's been picking it while we've talking. So I'm as surprised as you are, because I have no idea what he's going to play. So let's give it up for Grady.
Alrighty, this song's on the EP. It's probably my favorite song right now. It's called Never Let Me Go.
I've been away for a while now. I've been cold, but I've been running around in search of my home. I left sick and plenty, but now I have none. I get so lost searching for where I belong now. I feel your presence all around me now, but I keep on going on. You're not after what I'm holding on. You're just wanting me. Well, I can feel it in my soul. No matter where I go now, you just want me to know that you could never let me go. Well, I can feel it in my heart. We'll never be apart now. You just want me to know that you could never let me go. Even though the struggle is staying close. Well, I can feel it in my bones. I'll never be alone now. You just want me to know that you could never let me go. That you could never let me cross the river and started walking through the trees. The fear started to grip me as the distance increased. As I stopped on the side of the road to breathe, what I saw behind, no, I couldn't believe. No. I feel your presence all around me now, but I keep on going on. You're not after what I'm holding on. You're just wanting me. Well, I can feel it in my soul. No matter where I go now, you just want me to know that you could never let me go. Well, I can feel it in my heart. We'll never be apart now. You just want me to know that you could never let me go. Even though this struggle is staying close. Well, I can feel it in my bones. I'll never be alone now. You just want me to know that you could never let me go.
That was fantastic, man. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Where can people find you, social media, et cetera, if they want to follow you, follow your story, follow your music, and support you?
Yeah. So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, both at the Capital Ship, capital spelled CAPITAL. And I'm not very good at tweeting or Instagramming, but I try to be good at it. Just have grace with me when you look at my posts and stuff, because Twitter I just use to either do song lyrics or stupid things that are on my mind. And Instagram, I just post whatever's going on in life. And then Facebook, I think it's all messed up on Facebook. Like, I think when I made the URL, I put the Capital Ship. It's something weird like that. Just look up Grady Frazier on Facebook and you'll find my page like that. That's where I put most of my, when I'm playing shows and stuff. Especially if you're in the mid-Missouri region, that's definitely where I'll post everything to where you need to know. You can also check out Grady Frazier on ReverbNation.com. There's some music up on that. And then I'm pretty sure, well, right now there's Runaway, which is a single. It's on iTunes and on Spotify. Spotify, we just reached 3,000 streams, which is amazing.
Woo!
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where you put stuff out there and you're like, oh, I'm only, like, you put stuff out on YouTube, you get like 200 views. So I was expecting, like, when we hit 1,000, it blew my mind, and now that we're at 1,000 or 3,000, it's just blowing my mind even more. So thank you to everybody that's listening out there. It's amazing. But when the EP comes out, it'll be on all across the boards as well. So pick your favorite platform and either buy it or listen to it, or, like, the label probably doesn't want me saying this, but just get it however you can. Like, I just want you to listen to the music and enjoy it, and if it has an impact on you, that's even better.
Well, hey, look, the holidays are coming up, so Grady wants to share his music with you, but we want you to share your dollars with Grady.
I
So
like to
go
eat.
out there and support him so that he doesn't have to come sleep on my couch. Actually, I changed my mind. Don't support him so he can come sleep on my couch.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Hang out
I'm
every
kidding.
night.
I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, go out there and support this man. He is making amazing music, and he is just uber talented, and he loves what he does, and he's good at it. So go out there and support that man and get it pre-order on iTunes. Buy Runaway on iTunes. When you're anywhere, listen to it on Spotify. It's a great, it's about running. So when you're on the treadmill at the gym, just listen to Runaway.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding, of course. But yeah, go support this man, and we'll keep up with him on the show, and maybe we'll be able to have him again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. And last thing I want to say is just come see a live show. It's so much different live, and I just like feeling and being in the moment with people. So feel free to stop on by a show sometime. That'd be awesome.
As is custom with the Just John podcast, I'm going to end the show with an app review. This app is only available on Android. There are some options on iPhone, but none of the free ones were very good. I checked on my iPod Touch. None of the free ones were very good, and so... But, if you're willing to pay a few dollars or a little more, you can get some really good ones on the iPhone as well, or iPad, or whatever you want to do through iTunes. But this one's for Android mainly. So the app I'm going to review today is called the Custom Soundboard. And basically what it does is it just lets you add whatever types of sounds that you want. So like if you're doing YouTube videos or YouTube streaming and you're wanting to put some music in there, you can control it with your soundboard instead of having to manually enter all of the different sounds into your recording or whatever you're doing. So it's really nice. It's easy to use, really simplistic. As far as I know, you can put unlimited sounds on there. I have not reached a limit yet with the ones that I have on it. So I'm honestly not sure. I didn't have enough. I put everything that I have on my phone on the soundboard and it worked, which is like 50 something sounds. So I'm assuming if it can go to 50, it can probably at least do 100, and if not more. And I think that's plenty. That's a decent size collection. And if you have more sounds than that, you're probably going to be a little beyond using just a regular phone application for it. But it's a cool app, so go check it out and enjoy making some content with it. If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing, retweeting, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize the love of the show on the platform you're using to view it. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo. You can find the show at Facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast or at JustJohnPodcast.wordpress.com. You can listen to the show on SoundCloud.com/JustJohn-Podcast or at YouTube.com/JFMedina2010. You can also search for the Just John Podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. Questions, comments, concerns, you can email justjohnpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.